Welcome to my Building a Mobile Slovenian Beehive video. This first video is going to be about the undercarriage of the beehive. I have built it out of 4x6 pressure-treated pieces of wood. Its dimensions are 12 feet by 8 feet. I have 3 skids that are going to run across the ground, one on either side and one in the center. I've notched the skids with a 45-degree angle so that on both ends so that they will not get caught up in the ground while I'm trying to pull it with the tractor. I have 3 skids because I have an old road that connects to an old granite quarry up in the woods, and the road is only about 9 or 10 feet wide, which is barely more than the width of the beehive. So I have the third center skid in place so that I don't bottom out if I go slightly off of the road while I'm trying to pull it up. In addition, I also have a piece of wood, another 4x6 piece of pressure-treated wood on top of the skids so that it gives a flat surface that I can build the joists and the wood that goes around the joists on. I also have a 4x6 piece of pressure-treated wood that I found in the basement that I'm going to put over the center skid, so the center skid is also going to largely be at the same height as the surrounding pieces. It doesn't go quite all the way from end to end, but I am going to use the space above the center skid and below the cross piece to put a loop chain that I'm going to use to drag with the tractor. So what I've done so far is I have cut the pieces, I've laid them out, I've drilled some of the holes for the carriage bolts, which are going to hold the pieces in place. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish drilling the holes, and then I am going to put everything together, tighten up the bolts, and at that point I'm going to put some 4x4 diagonal cross pieces to reinforce the corners so that they don't deform as I'm pulling it with the tractor. So let's get started. Now I am going to drill the final 2 bolt holes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my square and using the edge here, I am going to find the corner piece, the corner point here. I'm going to draw a line. Then I'm going to do the same thing on this angle, so I can pretty much get it right in the center. And I'm going to do the same for this piece. It's wrong. Okay. I have found that with this large drill bit, I can drill maybe 2.5 holes before I need to switch the battery. So it just fell out. Put this back. Right, so here we go. I have raised the entire frame, put it on a couple of 2x4s, so there's a little clearance from the floor. And what I'm hoping to do here is not drill into the floor. So I'm going to drill as straight as I possibly can. Drill as straight as I possibly can, putting the point right there on the X. so that hole is drilled. We'll move on to the next one. Again, putting it in the center of the X, drilling it as straight as I possibly can. Backing out. Not quite through yet. Okay. Now I have two holes that go all the way through the wood and come out the other side. So both holes should be aligned. What I need to do now is begin to take some of the carriage bolts out. I have to remove the carriage bolts I already put in. So I'm going to untwist them until I can just pull them straight out. I put the carriage bolts in the first place so that the frame wouldn't move while I was putting the extra ones in and drilling the holes. All right, one down. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a Forstner bit. A Forstner bit is a bit that comes out with a flat surface at the bottom. You could probably use, if you don't have a Forstner bit, you could probably use a flat screw or a flat drill, or really any kind of drill. Is just to make a recess. So this recess is about 3/4 of an inch deep. I'm not too worried about an exact depth. It just has to be deep enough that the flat part of the carriage bolt will not come out. And I'm going to take the hammer and just tap it in a little bit. What I want to do is have the carriage bolt come out just a little bit on the other side. So it's coming out maybe half an inch on the other side. The reason is when I try to put this back together, I want to be able to find the hole, but because I was not able to drill these with my drill press because of the size of the wood and the setup I have. The holes are not going to be perfectly up and down. So because of that, I need to not have them go all the way through both pieces of wood. I'm going to have to kind of deal with that once they're all together. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay, so this one is much easier than the previous one. Okay, right. Is reassemble these such that I can bang them in upside down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the skids the proper way, and I am going to put one bolt on each side on top of the 2x4, and I'm going to use the sledgehammer to nudge the wood above it into allowing me to get the bolt far enough up that I can catch the threads and use the nuts on the top side to pull the carriage bolt all the way. Now what I have to do is I have to take these side pieces, put them through the bolt holes, put the bolts through the holes, and square everything up. now I have four angled braces, 4 feet on the long side, one for each corner. And what I'm doing is I have a scrap piece of the 4x6 here and here to support this. And then I'm going to take my framing nailer with 3.5-inch nails, and I'm just going to put a couple nails in the ends of each of them to keep the corner piece in. And then I'm going to use some lag screws, some heavy duty lag screws to really tighten it up. Okay, the last of the lag screws is in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this middle piece and I'm going to drill some pilot holes and then nail it to the skid below it. There shouldn't be that much stress on it because nothing is actually pulling on it. It's just to rest the weight of the joist, and an 8-foot span probably doesn't even need anything to rest it on. But since I had this extra piece lying around, I figure I should use it. Okay, so this is 18 1/4. 18 1/2. So tap it that way a little bit. 18 and a half. I have several 6-inch nails I'm going to use to nail that top piece in. This is ready now. Piece came over a little bit. Draw another pilot hole. Okay, so that middle piece is securely in there. I'm going to put a nail in the center of these two side pieces. All right. One final thing. One final thing I'm going to do is there should be a 2x6 show it on the side, that runs along this side and goes all the way to the end. And that should help take the end carry the weight of the end pieces when it's getting pulled. I'm going to take the scrap wood that we were using before and cut off a piece on the table saw to put on the inside of each of those joints, just to make sure that it's as strong as it possibly can be to avoid getting pulled apart. So I cut the excess 4x6s into approximately about 2¼ inch thick by about 4-inch wide board, so that I can reinforce this angle here. Let me move the camera so I can show what this is doing. I have a piece of 1½ inch thick wood here to tell me how far I can get over. It's going to hang over the edge a bit over here. I think that's okay. There's nothing down there that needs to be that I have to watch out for. So I'm just going to use the nail gun. All right, so that piece is secure. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.